So we know that all the physical quantities in this world can be divided into two parts. One is scalar quantities and other is physical quantities. So there are two types of physical quantities. One is scalar and other is vector. Physical quantities are those quantities by which we can, measure all these, physical phenomena which is going around us. So all these, let's say velocity, acceleration, these are all physical quantities. So using these physical quantities, we can define all the laws in physics basically. So there are two types of physical quantities. Scalar quantity and vector quantity. Scalar quantities are those which has only magnitude. Okay, so these have only magnitude. Vector quantities are those which has magnitude as well as direction. So this has magnitude and direction both. Okay. So scalar quantity has only magnitude, vector quantities have magnitude and direction. Example of scalar quantities can be speed, distance, mass. So these are all scalar quantities. Examples of vector quantities, if you see, this is velocity, acceleration, force. Okay, these are all vector quantities. So the physical quantities which have only magnitude but no direction are called scalar quantities or scalars. Okay, and examples are mass, length, time, distance covered, speed, temperature, work, etc. The scalars can be added, subtracted, multiplied, and divided by ordinary laws of algebra. So if we have to add two physical quantities which are scalar, or subtract them, or multiply or divide them, this is possible by normal ordinary laws of algebra. When we add two numbers, subtract the numbers, or multiply or divide the numbers. So the algebra which we follow there, same is being followed for scalars also. Scalar may be positive or negative and is represented by mere number and unit. So scalar can be positive and negative and it is represented by a number along with a unit. So physical quantity को जैसे represent करते हैं with a number. So there is a number and then a unit after that number. Now the other type of physical quantity is vector quantities. So vector quantities, the physical quantities which have magnitude as well as direction are called vector quantities. Examples are displacement, vector, acceleration, displacement, velocity, acceleration, force, torque, etc. Now, when you add or subtract or multiply a vector, that is not done by ordinary laws of algebra, it is done by use of laws of vectors. So, by the laws of vectors, when you add two numbers, you add it using triangle law and the parallelogram law of addition. So, in vectors, in the case of vectors, vectors cannot be added, subtracted, or multiplied by ordinary laws of algebra. We use laws of vectors to add, subtract, and multiply them. Division of a vector by another vector is not a valid operation. So division is not a valid operation in vector algebra. So you don't divide two vector quantities. A vector can be represented either by a single letter in boldface or by using single letter with an arrowhead. Boldface, you cannot write it on copies, obviously. So you use these, symbols, these letters along with a arrowhead on the top. So geometrically or graphically, a vector is represented by a straight line with an arrowhead, that is arrowed line. तो वेक्टर को कैसे रिप्रेजेंट करते हैं? एक स्ट्रेट लाइन और उसके ऊपर एक एरो लगा के. So geometrically or graphically, vector is represented by a straight line with an arrowhead. So the length of this arrow tells you the magnitude. This gives you the magnitude, idea of a magnitude basically. So if you have two, vectors which have same length, that means they have equal magnitudes. And if the direction is also same, that means these are two equal vectors in that case. So for two vectors to be equal, it should have same magnitude as well as direction. The starting point of arrowed line is called the tail or origin of the vector. So this starting point is called tail of the vector, and this arrowhead gives you the head of the vector. So you will have a tail of a vector and a head of the vector. So head of the vector defines the direction basically. Okay. Now modulus of a vector, the magnitude of a vector is called the modulus of a vector. So how do you represent a modulus of a vector? A vector by two lines on the both sides. So this gives you the modulus of the vector. Modulus means magnitude of the vector. That is the length of that vector if you talk about the graphical thing. Unit vector, a unit vector of a given vector is a vector of unit magnitude and having the same direction as that given vector. Let's say you have a given vector like this, A. Now, if you have to find a unit vector along it, so a vector having the same direction and the magnitude equal to 1 unit. So if the magnitude is 1 unit and the direction is same as this vector, we represent it as A cap, and it is known as unit vector. So how to find the unit vector is equal to vector A divided by its magnitude gives you the unit vector. Okay, so this is how you find a unit vector. And how do you find a modulus of a vector is, let's say we have a vector A written in a rectangular coordinate system as AXI plus AYJ. So I cap and J cap are basically the unit vectors along X axis and Y axis. So in 3 dimensions, if you represent the vectors, so let's say this is your X axis, this is Y axis, and this is Z axis. So a unit vector along the X axis is represented as I cap. A unit vector along Y axis is represented as J cap. And the unit vector along Z axis is represented as K cap. तो जो एक्स एक्सिस के अलोंग है आई कैप से रिप्रेजेंट करते हैं, वाई एक्सिस के अलोंग जो यूनिट वेक्टर है वो जे कैप से, और जो जेड एक्सिस के अलोंग है उसको के कैप से रिप्रेजेंट करते हैं. तो ये एक स्टैंडर्ड नोटेशन है. तो अगर हम लोगों को कोई एक वेक्टर को लिखना है, लेट्स से हमारे पास एक वेक्टर ए है, इसको रेक्टेंगुलर कोऑर्डिनेट सिस्टम में लिखना है, तो ये ए एक्स आई कैप प्लस ए वाई जे कैप प्लस ए जेड के कैप हो जाएगा. और अगर हमें इस वेक्टर का मैग्नीट्यूड लिखना है, इफ वी हैव टू राइट द मैग्नीट्यूड ऑफ दिस वेक्टर, तो कैसे लिखेंगे? रूट अंडर ए एक्स स्क्वायर प्लस ए वाई स्क्वायर प्लस ए जेड स्क्वायर, right? So this is how we write the magnitude of a vector. And if you have to find the unit vector of vector A, so this is vector A divided by vector A ka magnitude. That means vector A is AXI plus AYJ plus AZK divided by root under AX square plus AY square plus AZ square. Is it clear, बच्चों? So Satpreet, I have added you beta in the Google Classroom. Okay. So your mail ID, I think I got it from Ankit J. So your mail ID is Sandhu Satpreet 2255@gmail.com. Am I right? So what you need to do, okay, you have joined the classroom. Good. So you will get all the study material, DPPs and everything, the lectures, the video lectures, the class notes which I am doing as presentations. All these things I'll keep on uploading there. You can, whenever you want, you can study it from there. Okay, Satpreet and Betsy, both of you. Okay. So this will make us more organized, and everything will be date wise and class wise. So it will be helpful for all of us. For me also. Yeah, Satpreet, I'll be sharing the DPP regularly after every class, or after every 2 classes, if not after every class. And Yesterday, I sent you two DPPs of units and dimensions. I'll be sending you today also two DPPs for units and dimensions. So before this, basically, there was nothing to share much. But from now on, because things are, as we proceed, you will see new topics coming and new topics being covered. So I'll be sharing all those DPPs. What you need to do, you need to solve those DPPs and keep on sending it to me on my email ID as I have shared it with you earlier also. So my email ID, I'll share it again, is sunitkumarsingh@gmail.com. So you need to do all those DPPs and share it with me, right? The more you share, it will give me a better idea, and also it will make you more organized. So I'll show you how students in other batches are doing. So just to give you a fair idea. So if I see, so see, you can see they are very organized. They write the question and the answer and everything. But yeah, you cannot, I don't expect you writing question and everything. But yeah, please send it to me in a proper format so that I can give a brief overview of what you have done, and it will keep you organized. Okay, clear, bachcho? So we saw that the unit vector a cap is given as vector a divided by vector a ka magnitude. In rectangular Cartesian coordinates, we have also seen that the unit vector along x-axis is I cap, along y-axis it is j cap, and along z-axis it is k cap. Thus, a unit vector in a given direction is also defined as a vector in that direction divided by the magnitude of the given vector. So vector in that direction divided by the magnitude in the given vector, you will get a unit vector. It is unitless and dimensionless vector and represents direction only. So unit vector is unitless and dimensionless. It only gives you the direction. Equal vectors. So when are two vectors called equal? When their magnitude are same and their direction is also same, as I was discussing. Two vectors are said to be equal if they have equal magnitude and same direction. Now this is a vector which is there in the three-dimensional system. So you can see that this is your x-axis, this is your y-axis, and this is your z-axis. So a unit vector along x-axis shown by a blue line is written as I cap. Unit vector along y-axis is written as j cap, and unit vector along z-axis is written as k cap. So any point, if you join origin to a point P whose coordinate is x comma y comma z, okay. So if you have these coordinates x comma y comma z, so OP vector, this OP vector is given as xi plus yj plus zk. Okay, this is your OP vector. Now, if you have to find the unit vector along OP vector, it will be vector OP divided by the magnitude of the vector OP. Okay, so the magnitude we can write it as xi plus yj plus zk divided by root under x square, y square, and z square. Root under x square plus y square plus z square. So this is our unit vector. So basically what you do, this vector, let's say this is a vector r. First of all, you draw a perpendicular from this vector on z axis. So the length of this OT point, O from O to point T is basically the component of this vector OP along the z axis. And when then you drop a perpendicular on the xy plane, right? And from this point Q, you drop perpendicular on y axis as well as a perpendicular on x axis, right? So this length is equal to y and this length is equal to x, right? So along x you will find the distance xi, along y axis it is yj, and along z axis it is zk. Is it clear? So you can see that, once the vectors are moved from one place to other, you can see the components being changing. Here, x component is changing. So you can see that here, the x-axis is along this direction, y-axis is along this direction, and z-axis is along this direction. So you can take any x, y, and z till the time you are taking it in an anti-clockwise direction, it is correct. So if you're taking x here, you will have to take y here and z here. So it should be in anti-clockwise direction, as in the previous case, if you see. So the x-axis was in this direction, y-axis was in this direction, and z-axis is in this direction. So you can see that x, y, and z axis is, in these formats. Okay. And this here also it was in anti-clockwise direction. So you have to always take it in anti-clockwise direction. Just to give you an idea of 3 dimensions, how it is, the z-axis is, coming out of the plane. X and y-axis is the horizontal plane basically. So you can see that if this is x, this is y, this will be z. This is how the 3 dimensions look like, and they are all mutually perpendicular to each other. So they make 90-degree with each other, all of these. So similarly, this figure also gives you an idea of, so this gray colored vector is the vector which we are talking about, OP. And these are these axes, X, Y, and Z axes. So basically, so if you see here, so this is the vector, and this is, a component which is along X axis, I cap, this is J cap, and this is K cap. So if I take this as X, this as Y, and this as Z, this is how it would look like. Now let's say, you have to find a unit vector of 4i minus 3j plus k. So just to give you an idea, so let's say our vector A is equal to 4i minus 3j plus of k. The magnitude of vector A is equal to root under 4 square plus 3 square plus 1 square. So that means this is equal to 4 square is 16 plus 9 plus 1, which is root under 26. So now A cap will be equal to the unit vector along A is vector A divided by vector A ka magnitude. So vector A is 4i minus 3j plus k divided by root under 26. So this will be equal to 4 by root 26i minus 3 by root 26j plus 1 by root 26 k. Okay. So this is our unit vector. Is it clear? Now to find describe the angle between two vectors. So if you have to find the angle between two vectors, so angle between two vectors means smaller of the two angles between the vectors when they are placed tail to tail. Tail to tail means one vector, if A is a vector and the other vector B, it should be such that A and B should have a common tail, right? The tail should meet at one point. So it's not necessary that it will always be like that. Let's say A is here and B is here. Then what you need to do is you need to shift this vector to here. So we know that a vector can be shifted parallelly anywhere on the plane, XY plane. So that means if you bring it here, so this is your vector B. So vector B and A, they are not, tails are common. So the angle between them is the smaller of the angles. So there are two angles. One angle would be this and the other angle is this, theta 1 and theta 2. You have to consider the smaller of these two. Smaller of these two is theta 1. So the angle between two vectors will be theta 1. Okay. Similarly, if you have one vector A like this and other vector B like this, so this is A and let's say this is B. Now these are not tail to tail. You will have to bring it tail to tail. So what you will do? You will shift this vector. So B को ऐसे ही रखेंगे और A vector को shift करके यहाँ ले आएंगे. So we will shift the vector A in such a way so that their tails meet at a point, and this common point now is the common vertex of these two vectors, and then the angle which is measured in anti-clockwise direction, the smaller of the two angles. So there is one angle is this and the other angle is this. So smaller of these two is this. So this is the angle between vector A and B. Now, equal vectors we have already done. Vectors having equal magnitude and same direction are called equal vectors. Now a vector will remain same if we translate it parallel to itself without rotating. So if we translate a vector parallelly anywhere on the plane, so then we say that these two vectors are equal. So vector will remain same. Okay, it will not change its value if we are moving it in a way so that it is parallel to the original vector, and without rotating we are parallelly shifting it. On rotation, a vector changes completely, although its magnitude remains same, but due to change in direction it represents a new quantity. So when you rotate a vector, when you rotate something, the vector changes. Why? Because let's say you have a vector A and you have rotated it by some angle. Even though the magnitude is same, the direction becomes different when you rotate it by some angle. So in that case, the vector changes completely. So on rotation, a vector changes completely, although its magnitude remains same, but due to change in direction, it represents new quantity. Now negative of a vector. So negative vector of a given vector has same magnitude but opposite directions. Okay. So the negative vector of a given vector has same magnitude but the directions are opposite. Let's say you have a vector A here. So in an opposite direction, so if you are having the same magnitude vector but the direction opposite, this will be known as minus of A. So negative vector means the length of the vector needs to be same, the magnitude remains same, the direction becomes opposite. So then we call it a negative vector. So you can see it here. So this is the vector A and this is minus of A. Right? Now collinear vectors, two or more than two vectors are collinear if they are in the same direction. So vectors acting along same line or parallel lines are called collinear vectors. They can be on the same line or they can be in parallel lines. Okay. then they are called collinear vectors. It can be anti-parallel as well. So these two vectors would be called parallel vector, and C and D would be called anti-parallel vectors. So parallel vector, if two collinear vectors act along the same direction, if you have two collinear vectors both acting along the same direction, we call it parallel vectors. And if we have two collinear vectors acting in opposite direction, we call it anti-parallel vectors. So if two vectors are collinear, then one vector can be expressed as multiple of some scalar or real number. Okay. So if two vectors are collinear, then one vector can be represented as scalar multiple of the other. So for example, let's say this is one vector A. So you will have another vector which is 2A. Now this 2A vector, this is 2 times the vector A, right? 2A vector is 2 times the given vector A. So this is basically, these two vectors would be collinear because these would be in the same direction. So two vectors are collinear, then one vector can be expressed as multiple of the another vector. Now co-initial vectors. So if tails of two vectors, if tail of two or more vectors meet at some point, then they are called co-initial vectors. Okay. So if tail of two vectors, two or more vectors meet at some point, then they are called co-initial vectors. So all these vectors, see, these are all starting with the same point. So that's why they are known as co-initial vectors. They are all of their initial points are same. Similarly, concurrent vectors are those which pass through the same point. So see, all these co-initial vectors are concurrent vectors only. So concurrent vectors would be like this, all of these vectors are passing through a same point. So these are known as concurrent vectors. Co-terminus vectors, when all these vectors terminate at the same point. So if you see all these vectors, these are all co-terminus vectors because they terminate at the same point. Concurrent vector, co-terminus vector, and co-initial vectors. Now, coplanar vectors. So all the vectors in a plane, in one plane, are called coplanar vectors. Let's say all the vectors which are lying in xy plane would be coplanar vectors. So it can have different directions, but they should lie in one plane only. So three vectors forming a triangle must be coplanar, as triangle is a planar figure, and two vectors will always have their unique plane. अगर दो वेक्टर ही है तो वो हमेशा एक यूनिक प्लेन पे ही लाई करेगा. ठीक है. Yes, Satpreet. You want to say something or ask something? Yeah, Satpreet, vector is the starting point of kinematics. Basically, we do vectors first and then we'll do motion in straight line and then we'll do motion in a plane. So vectors is most of the times, used in motion in a plane concept, but at times we use it motion in a straight line also. So that's why we do vectors first, because vectors are, yeah, we have started our unit 2. We have completed unit 1. So units and dimensions are complete. So we had 3 classes for units and dimension. First class we did about units. Second class we did about errors and other measurement kind of thing. And the third class we did about dimensions. So we are going with what we had discussed earlier. I'll just show you. So we'll be strictly following this. Why? Because until unless we follow this and are in a regular manner So we are following this, Satpreet. Okay. So introduction was the first day when we, taught, gave you the lectures and other thing about how to prepare. Basic mathematics used in physics, we did 2 class, and units and dimensions, we did 3 classes. Vectors, which is ongoing. So we are doing vectors right now. So this is what we'll be following. So if we follow this, then only we'll be able to complete everything on time. Otherwise, 2 years course to be completed in 6 months would be difficult. सो टाइमलाइन बहुत जरूरी है, टाइमलाइन को अच्छे से फॉलो करना, और तुम लोग को भी साथ साथ में चलना. बस मेरे खत्म कराने से नहीं होगा, ज्यादा जरूरी है कि तुम लोग कैसे पढ़ रहे हो. If you study along with what I am teaching, then only it will be useful, and then only it will be beneficial for you guys. Okay. So we are aiming to finish at least, if not friction, then at least Newton's laws of motion in this month. Why? Because we wasted 2 days of class this week, on Monday and Tuesday, because we could not start with the admission process. And so now we'll try and cover it up. So friction is something, because we are already 2 days late. So friction we will be doing it later on. After this module test. In first module test, we'll cover only up to Newton's laws of motion. ठीक है बेटा सतप्रीत? All clear? If you have something to ask, let's say you have not understood something in the first chapter, first unit, you can always let me know. Okay, we can arrange some, doubt clearing class, and I can solve all the doubts which you have. Okay. Chaliye, let's go ahead. So polar vectors, so vectors which have initial point at a, or a point of application, are called polar vectors. For example, displacement and force, these are all polar vectors. Axial vectors, so these vectors are used in rotational motion to define rotational effects. So direction of these vector is always along the axis of rotation, in accordance with right hand screw rule or right hand thumb rule. So axial vector is basically a rotational vector. So when something is rotating in anti-clockwise direction, then it will be going up. We'll be using this right hand thumb rule. है ना, आप लोग को पता है राइट हैंड थंब रूल. जिधर जिधर ये ऑब्जेक्ट रोटेट कर रहा होता है, अपने फिंगर्स को उधर कर्ल करना होता है, एंड देन द डायरेक्शन ऑफ द थंब गिव्स यू द डायरेक्शन ऑफ द वेक्टर. सो डायरेक्शन ऑफ द थंब इज गोइंग अप. When it is clockwise, the direction of thumb goes down. Okay. So examples of axial vectors: a small angular displacement d theta, angular velocity omega, and angular momentum j, angular acceleration and torque. These are all examples of axial vectors. So we'll study more about these vectors in chapters of rotational motion. Okay. So all these vectors which are related to rotation, you will see that they have all these axial vectors: angular displacement, angular velocity, angular momentum, angular acceleration, torque. These all have rotation. These all have, axial vectors. Examples of axial vectors: unit vector, a vector having unit magnitude and definite direction, is called a unit vector. So this we have already done. Negative vector we have already done. Co-initial vector, collinear vector, these we have already done. Co-planar vectors we have already done. Now position and displacement vector in a plane. So position vector means, let's say if we have a coordinate here as x1 comma y1, and this another coordinate is x2 comma y2, and this origin is having a coordinate 0 comma 0. So a vector joining the origin to that point position is called the position vector of a point A. So A has a position vector OA. So similarly, B will have a position vector OB, right? So let's say this is represented by vector R1, position vector, and this is represented by vector R2. So let R1 vector is equal to OA vector, R2 vector is equal to OB vector. Then we know that displacement vector. So the displacement vector is final position vector minus initial position vector. Final position vector is R2 minus R1. Okay. So R2 is X2I plus Y2J, right? This is R2 vector, and R1 vector will be, sorry, minus of R1 vector will be X1I plus of Y1J. So this displacement vector AB is equal to X2 minus X1I plus of Y2 minus Y1J. This is your displacement vector. So this is actually final position vector minus initial position vector. Now, so displacement vector is that vector which tells how much and in which direction an object has changed its position in a given interval of time. Now, multiplication of a vector by a real number. So when you multiply a vector by a real number, it becomes that many times the original vector. The direction remains the same, the magnitude increases by those many times. So let's say if you are multiplying a vector A by 2, so it becomes twice of A. So A and 2A both have same direction, but the magnitude is double. So if you see, if you have a vector A, then 2A will be of magnitude double the size of A. Direction remains the same. And if I write A and then another vector minus 2A negative sign will give you a direction opposite to that of the given vector, right? And 2 will multiply the magnitude of the given vector to give you the magnitude of the new vector. So minus of 2A means a vector which is opposite to A and twice the size of A. Is it clear? Now multiplication of a vector by a scalar. So if you multiply a vector quantity by a scalar quantity, you get s times, जैसे अभी हम लोगों ने किया था multiplication of a vector by a number. So यहाँ पे by scalar, तो scalar का जो magnitude है, that many times vector का magnitude increases and the direction remains the same as a vector. Direction में कोई change नहीं आएगा. So when a vector A is multiplied by a scalar S, it becomes a vector SA, whose magnitude is S times the magnitude of A, and it acts along the direction of A. The unit of SA is different from unit of vector A, right? So SA का जो unit है, that is different from the unit of vector A. Now resultant vector. So resultant vector of two or more vectors is defined as that single vector which produces the same effect as is produced by uh, individual vectors together, right? So this is resultant vector. So resultant vector of two or more vector is defined as that single vector which produces the same effect as is produced by individual vectors together. Okay. Now vector addition is not possible by simple laws of algebra. So if you see, vectors cannot be added by simple laws of algebra which are applicable to scalars. We have already seen that simple laws of algebra are not applicable here. We have here vector laws of algebra, vector addition, vector multiplication, vector subtraction. We have different laws for that. We'll see it now after this topic. So resultant vector जो था, resultant vector of two or more vector is defined as single vector which produces the same effect as is produced by individual vectors together. तो अगर दो vectors हैं, जैसे दो force हैं, एक object को दो direction में खींच रहे हैं, तो इनका जो resultant होगा, मतलब जो अगर इन दोनों वेक्टर को, इन दोनों फोर्स को एक सिंगल फोर्स से रिप्लेस किया जाए तो उसका जो मैग्नीट्यूड और डायरेक्शन होगा, वो जो सिंगल फोर्स है वो उसका रिजल्टेंट वेक्टर कहलाएगा इन दोनों वेक्टर्स। तो सेम इफेक्ट अगर प्रोड्यूस करता है वो वेक्टर, जो सिंगल वेक्टर, तब वो उन सारे वेक्टर्स का रिजल्टेंट कहलाता है। इज इट क्लियर? नाउ वेक्टर एडिशन बाय ज्योमेट्रिकल मेथड। तो ज्योमेट्रिकल मेथड क्या बताता है? जनरल रूल ऑफ एडिशन ऑफ वेक्टर्स। तो अगर दो वेक्टर को ऐड करने हैं, it states that the vector to be added are arranged in such a way that the head of the first vector coincides with the tail of the second vector, whose head coincides with the tail of the third vector, and so on. Then the single vector drawn from the tail of the first vector to the head of the last vector represents the resultant vector or sum of the vectors. So let's say we have one vector A, another vector B is here, and the third vector C is here. What we'll do, we'll bring this vector B parallelly, we'll shift it parallelly and bring it to the head of A. So head of A and tail of B coincides. So this becomes B. Okay. Then the tail of C coincides with the head of B. Right? इसको C को भी शिफ्ट कर लिया पैरेलल। अब हमारे पास ए बी सी तीनों एक साथ आ गए। अब ए के टेल से सी का हेड, जो लास्ट वाला वेक्टर है, उसके हेड तक जो लाइन को ज्वाइन करेंगे, सो दिस विल रिप्रेजेंट वेक्टर ए प्लस वेक्टर बी प्लस वेक्टर सी। ओके, यू हैव टू, व्हाट यू हैव टू नोट इज कि यहाँ पे जो इसका जो ओरिएंटेशन है, ए इधर जा रहा है, बी इधर जा रहा है, सी इधर जा रहा है, ऑर्डर चल रहा है, साइक्लिक ऑर्डर चल रहा है ना। हम लोग किधर घूम रहे हैं? वी आर रोटेटिंग इन एंटी क्लॉकवाइज डायरेक्शन। तो जो फाइनल रिजल्टेंट वेक्टर होता है ना, वो स्टार्ट से एंड तक उसके ऑपोजिट डायरेक्शन में होता है। मतलब इसका ओरिएंटेशन एंटी क्लॉकवाइज जा रहा था और ये वेक्टर हम लोगों ने इसको क्लॉकवाइज इधर से घुमा के बना दिया। राइट? सो दिस इज द summation of all the vectors a plus b plus c. Is it clear? Now when two vectors, so when two vectors are acting in the same direction, right? So when the two vectors are acting in the same direction, what you need to do is you need to, keep it one after the other. So if we have to do a plus b, we'll bring this vector b, the tail of vector b to the head of vector a. Okay, so once you have brought the tail of vector b to the head of vector a, right, the initial vector starting from a, the tail of a to head of b, will be the resultant vector a plus b. So when the two vectors are acting in the same direction, right, so let the two vectors a and b be acting in the same direction. To find their resultant, mathematically we can say that the resultant r is given as a plus b. Okay. Is it clear? Now, when two vectors are acting in opposite direction, then when you add these two vectors, let the two vectors a and b be acting in opposite direction, then basically you are actually finding the difference of these two vectors. So when you are adding a and b, so what you will do, you will shift the vector b, the tail of vector b to the head of vector a. So this is basically R is equal to A plus B, right? But because the direction of B is in opposite direction, so we write it as A minus B. A plus of minus of B, because B, the direction of B is opposite to A. So this is also written as A minus B. This is how you find the resultant of the vectors when they are in opposite directions. Third, so this is what I was talking about. When you are adding two vectors in the same direction, you just add them, 10 plus 6, 16. And when they are in opposite direction, you subtract, then 10 minus 6 is 4. So when two vectors are at some angle, so let's say when you have two vectors at some angle, to find the resultant, what we'll do, vector A then vector B. So the tail of the vector B, we bring it to the head of vector A, and then tail of vector A is added to the head of vector B, right? You have vector A like this, vector B like this, and then from tail of vector A to the head of vector B, the line joining is called the resultant vector R. So this is basically what? Triangle law of vectors. Okay. So this we have already discussed a bit, triangle law of vectors. So triangle law of vectors, the statement, if you see, it states that if two vectors acting on a particle at same time are represented in magnitude and direction by two sides of a triangle taken in one order, their resultant vector is represented in magnitude and direction by the third side of the triangle. So if this is one side of the triangle, other vector represents the other side of the triangle. The third side of a triangle is basically the resultant of vector A and B. तो ये क्या होगा? R जो होगा resultant A plus B हो जाएगा. तो tail of A से head of B तक. और parallelogram law of vectors क्या बताता है? If two vectors which are co-initial vectors, यहाँ पे vectors co-initial नहीं थे A और B. B का tail A के head के साथ coincide कर रहा था. So if these two vectors A and B are co-initial vectors, let's say this is vector A, this is vector B, then what we'll do, we'll complete the parallelogram here. After completing the parallelogram, the diagonal of this parallelogram represents the resultant R, which is equal to vector A plus vector B. So this is parallelogram law of vectors. So parallelogram law of vectors state that of two vectors acting on a particle at the same time are represented if two vectors on the particle at the same time are represented in magnitude and direction by two adjacent sides of a parallelogram drawn from a point, their resultant vector is represented by a vector in magnitude and direction by the diagonal of the in magnitude and direction by the diagonal of the parallelogram drawn from the same point. So this is what is known as parallelogram law of vectors. So you can see that these vector f1 and f2. So if we are doing it by triangle law, we see that if vector, so initially f2 was somewhere else, we shifted it parallelly to the head of f1, the tail of f2 coinciding with head of f1, and then the vector joining the tail of f1 to the head of f2 is called the resultant vector. So this is the resultant vector. This is how you calculate it. When number of vectors act in different directions, okay. So let's say when you have many vectors acting in different directions, you will shift it one by one. So पहले A को B के tail को A के head पे लेके आए, उसके बाद C के tail को B के head तक लेके गए पैरेलली शिफ्ट करके, एंड देन D के हेड टेल को C के हेड के साथ मैच किया. अब ए बी सी डी ऐसे आ गया एक ही डायरेक्शन में, ए इस डायरेक्शन में, बी इस डायरेक्शन में, सी इस डायरेक्शन में और डी इस डायरेक्शन में, तो इसका जो पूरा ओरिएंटेशन है दैट इज गोइंग इन एंटी क्लॉकवाइज डायरेक्शन। अब इसके ऑपोजिट और जो स्टार्टिंग वेक्टर है, स्टार्ट ऑफ द वेक्टर ओ, वहां से लेके एंड वेक्टर के हेड तक, तो स्टार्टिंग वेक्टर का टेल को एंड वेक्टर के हेड से जब ज्वाइन करेंगे तो ये हमारा क्या हो जाएगा, रिजल्टेंट वेक्टर हो जाएगा। ठीक है, और ये जो रिजल्टेंट वेक्टर होगा दिस विल बी सम ऑफ ऑल दीज वेक्टर। सो वेक्टर आर इज इक्वल टू vector A plus vector B plus vector C plus vector D. Clear? So this is basically known as polygon law of vectors. Okay, because more than two vectors are involved here, we call it polygon law of vectors. So you can see the polygon law of vectors here. So, addition of four vectors, three vectors are shown here. And in this case, in the right side, you will find addition of five vectors A, B, C, and D. So you can do it in any way. It's not necessary after A, B should come and after B, C should come. If the order can be changed in any way, you will always find the same resultant vector. So order does not affect the resultant vectors. So, like in this question, figure shown A B C D E F as a regular hexagon. What is the value of AB plus AC? We have to find the value of AB plus AC plus AD plus AE plus AF. So this is your vector AB. This is your vector AC. This is your vector AD. This is your vector AE. And this is your vector AF. Can you try and let me know what is the value here, the answer here? Please try to answer this. Are you able to try it? Okay, I'll help you. So let's say, if you see here, we have to find the value of vector AB plus AC plus AD plus AE plus of AF. And you can see all of the answer options. First thing what you need to see कि answer options क्या है. AO ट्वाइस AO, तो सब AO के टर्म्स में ही है, मतलब हमको AO के टर्म्स में आंसर निकालना है। तो AO के टर्म्स में आंसर निकालने के लिए आप क्या करोगे, पहले एक वेक्टर यहाँ पे ऐसे ज्वाइन कर लो। सो अब ये हमारा जो BD है ये AE के बराबर है, ठीक है। सो AE इज इक्वल टू BD, वेक्टर AE इज इक्वल टू BD। ये जो वेक्टर AE था और ये BD वेक्टर जो है, ये दोनों इक्वल होंगे, राइट, सेम डायरेक्शन है और सेम मैग्नीट्यूड है। उसके अलावा this BD, AE is equal to BD and AF is equal to CD. If you see this AF, this vector AF and CD vector, they are same. So AF is equal to CD, right? So now what you need to do, इस वाले इक्वेशन में इसमें रिप्लेस कर लो आप। तो AB, you will get AB प्लस AE को BD से रिप्लेस कर लेते हैं, AB प्लस AC प्लस AD प्लस ऑफ BD, और AF को CD से रिप्लेस कर लेते। So replace AF by CD and replace AE by BD, right? So this will be equal to, we know that AB plus BD gives you AD, sorry. So AB plus BD is taken together. AB vector plus BD vector is taken together. And then we have AC plus CD. So you take AC and CD together. AB and BD are taken together. Combine it with AC plus of CD. So after combining AC with CD, and then you are left with one AD here, plus of AD. So this is equal to, देखो AB plus BD ट्राइंगल लॉ से अगर हम लिखेंगे, ये AB है, ये BD है, तो हमें क्या मिलेगा, AD मिल जाएगा। So we have AD. Similarly, ट्राइंगल लॉ से AC plus CD, ये क्या हो जाएगा, AD हो जाएगा। So AC plus CD can be written as AD plus of AD already है ही तुम्हारे पास, so you write AD. So now we have three vectors, AD plus AD plus AD. तो ये क्या हो गया, 3 times AD हो गया। और ये जो AD है, ये O मिड पॉइंट है AD का, इसको हम लोग लिख सकते हैं 3 times AD को लिख सकते हैं ट्वाइस ऑफ AO वेक्टर। तो ये क्या हो गया, 6 times AO वेक्टर हो गया। तो आंसर ऑप्शन क्या हो गया, 4, 6 times AO। Is it clear? But see, this is the kind of question which is being asked. All will have, you know, these kind of 4 options, answer options. The whole paper is a multiple choice question based paper. ठीक है बच्चों? Now analytical method of vector addition. So अभी जो हमने देखा वो जो है ज्योमेट्रिकल मेथड देखा। अब हम वो लोग एनालिटिकल मेथड देखेंगे। एनालिटिकल मेथड मतलब वेक्टर जो हम लोग एल्जेब्रिक मेथड से कैसे सॉल्व करते हैं ट्रायंगल लॉ ऑफ वेक्टर एडिशन कैसे। So triangle law of vector addition में we have a vector AB, let's say, and BC, and then we have AC. So what we do, we drop a perpendicular from C on AB extended. So let's say it meets it at point E, and then we know that AB plus BC is given by this resultant vector. This resultant vector is nothing but R can be written as AB plus BE whole square plus of CE whole square by Pythagoras theorem. So using that, we will have the derivation is not important for you guys, so I'll just skip the derivation. So what is important, I'll share it with you so that you can look at it later for your information. So basically, let's say we have a vector P, another vector Q, and let's say P and Q makes an angle theta with each other, right? So this is your resultant vector. This is your vector Q. This is your resultant vector. So resultant vector R is given as P square plus Q square plus 2PQ cos theta. And the angle between resultant and the original P vector, let's say this is beta. So tan beta will be equal to Q sine theta by P plus Q cos theta. So Q sine theta is this, and P plus, and this is Q cos theta. This is Q sine theta, and this is Q cos theta. So P plus Q cos theta, Q sine theta by this. So perpendicular by base gives you tan beta. So that is Q sine theta by P plus Q cos theta. So this is triangle law of vector addition. Similarly, we have parallelogram law of vector addition also. Same thing there also, you get the same thing. So if you have, let's say, two vectors, one is vector A, another, let's say, vector B, and we have to find the resultant of vector A and B. We'll complete the parallelogram, and the diagonal is, let's say, vector R. So the magnitude of vector R is equal to magnitude of A, and let's say this is the angle between A and B is given as theta. And this angle resultant that makes with vector A is beta. So R is equal to A square plus B square plus 2AB cos of theta. And tan beta is equal to B sine theta divided by A plus B cos theta. So this is our angle. So we get the angle using this B sine theta by A plus B cos theta, and the magnitude of the resultant by A square plus B square plus 2AB cos theta. Okay. Then we have these, Lami's theorem, law of sines and cosines. So law of sine, what it says is, we know that sine rule is if we have two. So law of sine say if we have this resultant, we have this triangle PQR. So this is another proof of the same thing. We don't need to do that. So if there is this special case when A and B will be in the same direction, then theta is 0 degrees, so it becomes A plus B. This again is the same, special case which we have already done. And the direction remains in the same direction as vector A. And when they are in opposite direction, you find A minus B. This also we have already done. Right? When they are at right angles, then you directly find the formula of R by root under A square plus B square. So this is, let's say, A and this is B. तो जो रिजल्टेंट होगा वो ये R हो जाएगा, ये 90 डिग्री है, तो इसको हम लोग क्या लिखेंगे, R को लिखेंगे रूट अंडर A स्क्वायर प्लस B स्क्वायर. ये हमारा पाइथागोरस थ्योरम से आता है रिजल्टेंट. ठीक है, जब ये 90 डिग्री होगा, मतलब ए और बी आपस में अगर परपेंडिकुलर होंगे, और वहां पे बीटा निकालने के लिए tan इनवर्स b बाय ए कर देते हैं, मतलब tan बीटा इज इक्वल टू b बाय ए हम लोग सॉल्व कर लेते हैं. ठीक है. Now conditions for zero resultant vector. So for, three vectors to have a zero resultant vector, it should, all these three vectors should add up to zero, and the final vector should be, the head of the final vector should be at the tail of the first vector. So let's say we have three vector. Pehla vector है vector A, then another vector B, and the third vector C. So C vector comes back to the same point from where A vector started. If such is the case, then in that case A plus B plus C is taken as 0. So vector A plus B plus C will be 0 if the initial point of the first vector A is equal to the final point of the third vector C. Lamy's theorem is, let's say you have a vector A and the angle opposite to this is alpha. Similarly, another vector B and the angle opposite to it is beta. Third vector C and angle opposite to it is gamma. Then we'll write it as A by sine alpha. So vector A divided by the angle opposite to this vector, which is alpha. Vector B divided by sine of angle opposite to this vector, beta. और उसके अलावा वेक्टर C और साइन ऑफ एंगल ऑपोजिट टू वेक्टर C, दैट इज गामा. तो ये क्या हो जाएगा, A बाय साइन अल्फा इज इक्वल टू B बाय साइन बीटा इज इक्वल टू C बाय साइन गामा. तो अगर हम लोग को A B C में से वैल्यूज दो के दिए हुए हैं और अल्फा बीटा गामा हमें नोन है, तो तीसरे का वैल्यू हम लोग निकाल सकते हैं. या कोई भी एक वेरिएबल नहीं दिया हुआ और बाकी वेरिएबल दिए हुए हैं, तो इसको यूज करके हम लोग निकाल सकते हैं. इस थ्योरम को हम लोग लैमीज थ्योरम कहते हैं. काफी यूजफुल है. जहां पे इक्विलिब्रियम की बात आएगी फोर्सेस की, वहां पे काफी ज्यादा यूजफुल है. ठीक है. नाउ कंडीशंस फॉर इक्विलिब्रियम ऑफ एन ऑब्जेक्ट. एक ऑब्जेक्ट इक्विलिब्रियम में कब होता है, जब उसका लीनियर मोशन, देयर इज नो लीनियर मोशन ऑफ द ऑब्जेक्ट, ऑब्जेक्ट रेस्ट पे होना चाहिए. देयर इज नो रोटेशनल मोशन ऑफ एन ऑब्जेक्ट, उसका कोई रोटेशनल मोशन नहीं होना चाहिए, लीनियर मोशन नहीं होना चाहिए. और मिनिमम पोटेंशियल एनर्जी ऑफ द ऑब्जेक्ट फॉर स्टेबल इक्विलिब्रियम. तो जो मिनिमम पोटेंशियल एनर्जी है, उस जो पोटेंशियल एनर्जी है वो मिनिमम होना चाहिए उस पूरे सिस्टम का, तब वो ऑब्जेक्ट स्टेबल इक्विलिब्रियम में होगा. सब्ट्रैक्शन ऑफ वेक्टर क्या होता है, एडिशन का ऑपोजिट. मतलब अगर हमारे पास एक वेक्टर लेट से ये था A, दूसरा वेक्टर B इस तरीके से है, दिस इज वेक्टर B. अब हम लोग को जब सब्ट्रैक्शन निकालना है, सब्ट्रैक्शन इज रिवर्स ऑफ एडिशन बेसिकली. A माइनस B को हम लोग लिख सकते हैं वेक्टर A प्लस ऑफ माइनस ऑफ वेक्टर B. So A प्लस ऑफ नेगेटिव ऑफ वेक्टर B. So A वेक्टर में नेगेटिव ऑफ वेक्टर B को ऐड करना है. वेक्टर B इधर है, नेगेटिव उसका इस डायरेक्शन में हो जाएगा. So this is माइनस B वेक्टर, राइट. तो ये A वेक्टर है और ये माइनस B वेक्टर है. इन दोनों वेक्टर को अगर हम लोग पैरेललोग्राम लॉ से कैलकुलेट करें रिजल्टेंट इसका, मतलब वेक्टर E और माइनस B का रिजल्टेंट, माइनस B ये हो गया, A ये हो गया, इनका जो रिजल्टेंट होगा, ये जो रिजल्टेंट वेक्टर है, ये वेक्टर A माइनस B हो जाएगा. ठीक है. सो दिस इज योर रिजल्टेंट वेक्टर ऑफ वेक्टर A एंड माइनस B. क्लियर है बच्चों? ठीक है. और ये जो रिजल्टेंट वेक्टर होगा A माइनस B, इसका अगर हम लोग को मैग्नीट्यूड निकालना होगा, यहीं पे लिख देता हूँ. इसका रिजल्टेंट का जो मैग्नीट्यूड निकालना होगा, इसको मान लो S वेक्टर से लिख रहे हो A माइनस B को, S इज इक्वल टू वेक्टर A माइनस B. तो वेक्टर S का जो मैग्नीट्यूड है वो दैट इज इक्वल टू A स्क्वायर प्लस B स्क्वायर माइनस 2AB कॉस ऑफ थीटा. ठीक है. क्लियर है बच्चों? नाउ जीरो और नल वेक्टर, जीरो वेक्टर क्या होता है, जिसका कि कोई एक तो डायरेक्शन उसका कुछ भी फिक्स नहीं होता है और उसका मैग्नीट्यूड जीरो होता है। मैग्नीट्यूड जीरो होगा तो डायरेक्शन उसका आर्बिट्रेरी रहेगा, किसी भी डायरेक्शन में उसको हम पॉइंट कर सकते हैं। सो इट इज दैट वेक्टर विच हैज जीरो मैग्नीट्यूड एंड एन आर्बिट्रेरी डायरेक्शन। आर्बिट्रेरी डायरेक्शन का मतलब डायरेक्शन फिक्स्ड नहीं है। सो अ जीरो वेक्टर इज रिप्रेजेंटेड बाय जीरो, राइट। इट इज ऑल्सो कॉल्ड नल वेक्टर। ठीक है, जीरो वेक्टर को हम लोग क्या बोलते हैं, नल वेक्टर भी बोलते हैं। ठीक है, सो a zero vector being of zero magnitude must be represented by arrow of zero length. The direction of arrowhead of a zero vector is represented by zero length cannot be specified. उसका डायरेक्शन हम लोग स्पेसिफाई ही नहीं कर सकते क्योंकि उसका लेंथ ही जीरो है। रेजोल्यूशन ऑफ वेक्टर हम लोगों ने देखा था, दो वेक्टर, एक वेक्टर के दो कंपोनेंट्स होते हैं। तो अगर एक वेक्टर ए है, इसके दो कंपोनेंट्स निकालने हैं, राइट, तो हम लोग क्या करते हैं, इधर से अगर हम लोग लाइट इस पे डालेंगे तो जितना बड़ा शैडो होता है वो उसका कंपोनेंट हो जाता है। अगर हम लोग कंपोनेंट ओ बी निकालेंगे, हमें पता है ट्रिग्नोमेट्री से अगर हम यूज करते हैं ओ पी अपॉन ओ आर पर बेस बाय हाइपोटेनस इज कॉस थीटा, तो इससे ओ पी क्या हो जाएगा, ओ आर कॉस थीटा हो जाएगा, जो कि OP को हम लोग, ओ आर मतलब ए, तो ए कॉस थीटा, ओ आर का मतलब ए का लेंथ, ठीक है, वेक्टर ए का मैग्नीट्यूड, तो ए कॉस थीटा हो गया। तो कोई भी वेक्टर का कॉस जिधर एंगल थीटा होता है वो कंपोनेंट ए कॉस थीटा हो जाता है, और जिस तरफ एंगल थीटा नहीं है, यहाँ पे जैसे थीटा इज नॉट देयर, थीटा इज ऑन दिस साइड, सो जिधर थीटा है वो कॉस कंपोनेंट, जिधर थीटा नहीं है वो साइन कंपोनेंट। तुम इसको भी निकाल सकते हो यहाँ पे, पी आर डिवाइडेड बाय ओ आर परपेंडिकुलर बाय हाइपोटेनस इज साइन थीटा, so PR will be equal to OR sin theta. OR is basically A, so this is A sin theta. तो अगर ये वेक्टर A है तो PR मतलब OQ के बराबर, PR और OQ सेम, तो PR OQ के बराबर है, तो ये A sin थीटा हो गया और ये A cos थीटा। क्लियर है बच्चों? तो वही चीज यहाँ पे बताया हुआ है, जो एक्स कंपोनेंट है, अगर आप देखोगे एक्स कंपोनेंट ए कॉस थीटा और वाई कंपोनेंट ए साइन थीटा। ठीक है, तो ये देखिए जैसे जैसे वेक्टर टर्न कर रहा है, कॉस जो एक्स कंपोनेंट और वाई कंपोनेंट वेरी कर रहा है। ठीक है, डिपेंड करता है कि वेक्टर क्या एंगल बना रहा है एक्स एक्सिस और वाई एक्सिस। ठीक है, so you can see the x component and y component here of the vector. रेक्टेंगुलर कंपोनेंट्स ये हम लोगों ने डिस्कस कर ही लिया है अभी। ठीक है, कि क्या होता है वेक्टर एडिशंस इन टर्म्स ऑफ रेक्टेंगुलर कंपोनेंट, यहां से हम लोग नेक्स्ट क्लास में स्टार्ट करेंगे। ठीक है बच्चों, सो विल स्टॉप हियर फॉर द डे, और इसके आगे हम लोग